Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're taking a closer look at something that seems to be everywhere right now. MJ DeMarco's book, The Millionaire Fastlane. You've probably seen it mentioned, right? On YouTube, social media feeds, it promises a lot. Time freedom, getting wealthy fast, escaping the whole 9-to-5 thing.
Yeah, it's definitely captured the imagination. The promise is incredibly appealing, no doubt about it, especially for anyone feeling, stuck.
It sounds amazing. Like the answer. But, and this is really crucial, based on everything we've looked at, there is a huge danger here.
A really big one.
Yeah. If you misunderstand this book, and honestly, it seems pretty easy to do, despite DeMarco trying to warn people you could actually end up, well, financially ruined. Like bankruptcy ruined.
It's not just theoretical either. We're actually seeing this trend play out.
We are. People with maybe $1,000 saved up, quitting their jobs to chase some huge dream like, I'm going to build the next Amazon.
Right, with barely any cushion.
Exactly. And the research, the stories, they show these attempts often end really badly. Just failure.
It's genuinely concerning. The desire is there, the ambition is there, but they're missing key pieces of the puzzle, misinterpreting the core message.
They grab on to the fast lane idea, the destination.
But completely ignore how to actually build the car, fuel it up, and, navigate the road to get there.
Yeah.
They miss the mechanics.
So that's our mission today in this deep dive. We need to unpack this dangerous misunderstanding. We want to clarify what the book really says and figure out why it gets twisted so often. And maybe most importantly for you listening, especially if you're thinking, okay, I want to start a business, but where do I even begin?
Yeah, for that person feeling a bit lost.
We want to lay out a real step-by-step plan, something sustainable, a way to build wealth that actually works. Without risking everything you have, we're here to get the real insights out.
Exactly. It's about building something solid, something lasting, not just chasing a quick buck based on, a misunderstanding. Bedrock, not quicksand.
Okay, so first things first, let's be crystal clear. The sources we've reviewed, and DeMarco himself, make it plain. The Millionaire Fastlane is a genuinely powerful book. It's got real value.
Oh, absolutely. It's foundational for a lot of people. It does a fantastic job tearing down the myth of the slow lane.
Right, that whole trade your time for money, work for 40 years, and hope for the best kind of path.
Yeah, he dissects that perfectly. And he champions scalable businesses, things like SaaS, e-commerce, valuable content as the real paths to significant wealth and faster wealth, too.
He really does. The book can totally shift how you think about earning money and building assets.
It hammers home the idea of leverage, how to make your efforts scale beyond just the hours you put in. It explains how systems can work for you.
But, and this is the huge but, here's where so many people seem to go wrong. They just sort of gloss over or maybe even skip entirely a really vital part of DeMarco's message.
The struggle.
Exactly. The chapter, the whole idea of the struggle. They're so drawn to the fast lane dream
that they conveniently forget DeMarco's own story. The years he spent learning, failing, trying again, refining things.
And saving. Critically, saving money and building capital along the way. Years of it.
Missing that part. It's often catastrophic because Fastlane gets misinterpreted as easy money.
Instantly. Like flicking a switch.
Yeah, frictionless wealth, overnight success, and that just sets up completely unrealistic expectations. It leads to terrible preparation or, no preparation at all.
They see the destination, but they refuse to look at the map or the mountains they have to climb first.
Right.
They confuse speed with zero effort.
It's like they read the title, maybe watch a few YouTube summaries.
Right, see the Lamborghinis.
And think, okay, got it. But the actual data tells a very different story, a much more sobering one.
Yeah, you look at the numbers, like from the Bureau of Labor Statistics.
Right.
It's stark. Around 20% of small businesses, they fail within the first year.
1 in 5, gone.
And it gets worse. By year 5, about half of them are gone. 50% failed.
And let's be clear why they fail. It's usually not because the founders weren't trying hard.
No, these people are often pouring everything they have into it. Heart, soul, money.
The failure usually comes down to that lack of preparation we mentioned. Not enough capital, not understanding the market they're jumping into. Or, ironically, completely misapplying the very principles from the book they think they're following.
They tried to jump on the fast lane without checking the tires, without enough gas in the tank, and without even looking at a map first.
It's pure enthusiasm overwhelming any sense of readiness. A recipe for disaster, frankly.
That whole car analogy really works, doesn't it? Which brings us right to that question we hear all the time.
Yeah.
You must get this one a lot, too.
Oh, yeah. Constantly.
Can I start a business with just $1,000? People really want to know.
Mm-hmm.
And drawing from DeMarco's real message and just reality, our answer is always kind of the same. Technically, maybe. You could probably register a domain name, get some super basic hosting.
Technically possible, yes.
But should you? If that $1,000 is literally all the money you have to your name, absolutely not. It's incredibly ill-advised.
That's the crucial difference, isn't it? Possible versus smart. Possible versus sustainable.
Yeah.
Because while you might be able to get a tiny footprint online, that level of capital just isn't sustainable for building a real functioning business. It's like trying to, I don't know, sail across the Atlantic in a bathtub.
Good analogy.
Yeah.
You might leave the shore, but your chances of making it are slim to none.
Exactly.
So let's break that down a bit. Why does that $1,000 or even a couple thousand just vanish? Why is starting on fumes so dangerous?
Well, first, it just disappears incredibly fast. Think about the basics.
Okay.
Software tools. You need something for accounting, maybe marketing, maybe design tools, even just reliable email and communication. That costs money, usually recurring monthly fees.
Right, the subscriptions add up.
Then advertising. How are people going to find you? You need to spend money to reach potential customers, usually, unless you already have a huge audience, which most people starting out don't.
Good point. Website hosting isn't free. Maybe you need business licenses depending on what you're doing. Maybe some basic inventory or materials.
Before you know it, that $1,000 is just gone.
Yeah.
Poof. And you likely haven't even made your first sale yet, let alone turned a profit.
Okay, so the money evaporates. What else?
Then there's the reality of slow returns. This trips up so many people. Almost every new business goes through a period where things are slow, really slow.
Yeah.
Maybe no income at all for weeks or months.
Yeah, finding that product market fit, building an audience, getting traction, it takes time. Sometimes a lot of time.
Exactly. So if you're living paycheck to paycheck or worse, you just quit your job and that $1,000 is your entire safety net. You just can't survive that dry spell.
You run out of time. You run out of money before the business even had a chance to get going.
You're forced to give up, not because the idea was necessarily bad, but because you didn't have the runway. It's like planting seeds and expecting a full harvest the next morning. It just doesn't work that way.
And that leads right into the third big problem, doesn't it? The emotional side.
The pressure is immense.
Yeah.
And deeply destructive.
Yeah, because if you're constantly terrified about paying rent next month or buying groceries, because your entire livelihood depends on this brand new, struggling business.
That financial stress creates crippling emotional pressure. You start making decisions out of desperation, not strategy.
Right, like you might slash your prices way too low just to get any sale, undermining your value.
Yeah.
Or you chase every shiny new tactic you see online.
Yeah, jumping from one thing to another without any real plan. Panic mode.
All because you need cash right now, no matter what it costs you long term. Desperate moves are almost always bad moves in business.
It becomes this terrible cycle. The pressure makes you make bad decisions, which makes the situation worse, which increases the pressure.
Yeah.
You're operating purely from fear. And fear is a terrible business strategist. It kills clarity, it kills creativity, it kills the patience you absolutely need.
It's like trying to run a marathon while sinking in quicksand, like you said. Just impossible.
We actually talked about a case like this, didn't we, Alex? Does that sound familiar?
Oh yeah, Alex. Perfect example. This was a real person we encountered. Had to think about $2,000 saved up. That was his entire nest egg.
$2,000, okay.
And boom, quit his job, decided he was launching a Shopify brand. Just like that.
Had he done any market research? Validated the product?
Nope. Zero product market fit testing. Didn't know if anyone actually wanted his stuff. Had no audience waiting, no email list, no social following, nothing.
So basically just the idea and the platform.
Pretty much. The plan was essentially build Shopify store, sell things, get rich. That was about the extent of it. Very common dream, unfortunately.
Sure, driven by those influencer narratives, probably, making it look easy.
Exactly. So fast forward just 4 months. 4.
What happened?
Maxed out credit cards, deep in high interest debt, business completely failed, and he was back living with his parents, jobless, broke, and owing money.
Wow, 4 months, that's fast.
Because he tried to jump straight into the fast lane with no engine, no fuel, no map. He had the dream, sure, but none of the preparation, none of the resources. Just a stark warning about rushing in.
A really powerful illustration of why that foundation is so critical, and it highlights another thing we need to talk about, the difference between the online hype and the actual reality of entrepreneurship.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because you go online, And it's just relentless, isn't it? The entrepreneur influencers.
Everywhere.
Showing off these incredible results. Made $100 Ks in 3 months, 7 figures with this one simple funnel. You know the type.
Yeah, the rented Lamborghinis, the mansions, the laptops on the beach.
It looks so easy, so glamorous. Like everyone else has figured out some secret code to instant wealth.
But what they don't show you, that's the crucial part. They edit out the reality.
Exactly. They don't show the 50 failed ideas that came before the one success.
Or the years of struggle, the products that bombed, the marketing campaigns that went nowhere, the endless grinding hours.
They don't show the crippling self-doubt, the sleepless nights worrying about payroll or angry clients.
They definitely don't show the credit card statements piling up from failed experiments, or the sheer emotional toll, the stress, the anxiety, sometimes leading to actual breakdowns.
Or partners quitting when things get tough, relationships straining or breaking.
It's a highly polished, carefully curated image designed to sell you something, a course, a lifestyle, whatever. It's not the full truth.
Not even close. And the real talk, based on everything we've seen and discussed, is that starting a business, especially early on, it's usually not glamorous.
Often the opposite.
Yeah, it can be incredibly lonely, full of uncertainty. You're constantly putting out fires, solving problems you didn't even know existed. It requires huge personal sacrifice.
And if you don't have that solid foundation, financial, strategic, emotional, it can be financially devastating. People burn through savings, rack up huge debt.
But their whole future on the line because they bought into a fantasy, not their reality of the hard work involved.
Which is exactly why the smartest path, the one DeMarco actually hints at with his own story, isn't quitting your job tomorrow on a whim.
Right. It's way more strategic. It's actually using your current job.
Leveraging it.
Yeah. Use that steady paycheck, that stability, to fund your journey. Build your savings, learn skills, test ideas on the side without the life or death pressure.
Use the slow lane deliberately to build the infrastructure for your eventual fast lane. That's the sustainable way.
That is the absolute key takeaway. Strategic transition, not a blind leap. Calculated moves, not impulsive ones. So, okay, for everyone listening who's feeling that pull, who wants to build something but feels lost or maybe scared off by these warnings.
Yeah, how do you actually do it right?
Here's the roadmap. Seriously, if I could tell my younger self one thing about this would be it. If you want to embrace the spirit of the Millionaire Fastlane and not end up broke, do this instead. This is the practical plan.
This is about bridging that gap from just dreaming about it to actually doing it safely and effectively, step by step.
Okay, step 1, get a valuable skill. This is non-negotiable, your absolute starting point. Before you dream of launching a global empire, focus on mastering a skill that people or businesses will actually pay good money for.
And we mean a high-demand skill, something that solves a real pain point in the market.
Like what? Well, professional copywriting. Learning how to write words that sell. Every single business needs that. Websites, ads, emails.
Or data analysis, making sense of numbers to find insights. Hugely valuable today. Businesses are drowning in data.
What else? Maybe high-ticket sales, especially B2B. Graphic design that actually communicates, not just looks pretty. Managing paid ads effectively on platforms like Google or Facebook. Learning to code.
These are concrete skills, and the beauty is it's a double win.
How so?
First, you can earn good money with these skills. Freelancing, maybe a better job. This lets you build up those savings, that capital we talked about. That's crucial.
Right, the fuel for the engine.
Second, while you're using these skills, maybe working for clients or a company, you're getting paid to learn about the market.
Ah, okay. You see real problems, real needs.
Exactly. You learn how businesses operate, what customers want, how deals get done. It's like getting paid for your market research and your business education.
That makes perfect sense. Learning the ropes on someone else's dime, basically.
Yeah.
Which flows right into step 2. Get a job or freelance gig in your target industry.
Right. Don't just jump into launching your own thing blind.
Go work for someone who's already successful in the space you want to be in. Dream of a marketing agency. Go work at one. Want an e-commerce brand. Get a job at an online retailer, even if it's customer service to start.
Learn from the inside. See the operations, the challenges, the opportunities, the mistakes they make. Absorb everything. Build your network.
All while getting paid and without taking the founder's risk yet. But during this phase, you absolutely have to focus on financial prep.
Laser focus. This is critical. You need to save up that personal emergency fund first. We recommend at least 6 months of living expenses, bare minimum.
That's your safety net. It takes the edge off the fear.
Then, on top of that, You need to save additional capital specifically for your business runway fund.
Separate buckets of money.
Yeah.
Personal safety, business investment.
Exactly. That business fund covers your initial costs and keeps the business afloat during those early, slow months. This is what allows you to think strategically, not desperately. It buys you time.
That runway capital is non-negotiable. It's investing in your future success. Okay, so you have the skill, you've got industry experience, you save the money. What's next?
Step 3. Launch a low-cost service business.
Okay, so not the big product idea yet.
Not necessarily. This is a smart, strategic, intermediate step. Use that valuable skill you developed in step 1.
How does that work?
These businesses, service businesses, can often be started incredibly cheaply, sometimes under $200, maybe just a domain name, professional email, basic website.
Because you're selling your skill, your expertise, not a physical product with inventory costs or complex software.
Precisely. Think freelance writing, web design services, virtual assistant work, social media management. You're directly monetizing the skill you built.
And the advantage here.
Lower overheads, obviously, but also much faster path to cash flow. You can start getting paid relatively quickly.
Right, you land one client, do the work, get paid. Much simpler loop than developing and marketing a product.
And you can realistically scale these service businesses. Getting to, say, $5,000 a month in revenue isn't some crazy dream. It's achievable relatively quickly if you're good and persistent.
So this gives you consistent cash flow, validates your ability to deliver value.
Builds your confidence, helps you learn how to actually run a business, invoicing, client management processes.
And provides income that can then fund the next step, reducing reliance on the day job. Makes sense. Okay, step 4.
Step 4, build leverage over time. Now we're getting closer to the core Fastlane concept DeMarco talks about.
But crucially, only after you've done the previous steps.
Absolutely. This stage is only for when you have consistent cash flow from your service business, you have a solid client base, you know what you're doing operationally, and you feel confident.
This isn't day 1 stuff.
No way. This is where you strategically multiply your efforts. You start moving beyond just trading your time for money, even if it's high-value time. You build leverage.
How? What does that look like?
It could mean developing products based on what you learned in your service business.
Like a web designer creating premium templates. Or a copywriter making a course.
Exactly. Or maybe it is time for that sauce idea, building software to solve a problem you saw firsthand working with clients, or developing an app.
So leveraging your expertise into something scalable.
Right. Or it could mean really scaling the service business itself through systems, automation, maybe hiring other skilled people, using advanced paid advertising strategies now that you have the capital and know-how.
Moving from one-to-one service to one-to-many value creation. Building assets.
That's the essence of it. Building assets that can generate income more independently of your direct time input. This is the real fast lane, built on a proper foundation. It's an evolution, not a shortcut.
Okay, powerful stuff. And the final step.
Step 5, understand and mitigate your risk. Always. At every stage, but especially before big leaps.
This feels like the reality check.
It is. You have to ask yourself, brutally honestly, what is the absolute worst case scenario here?
If I launch this new product or quit my job for the service biz, what happens if it completely fails?
Map it out. Do I lose all my savings? Do I end up in massive debt? Does it impact my family, my mental health, my relationships? Be specific.
And the key advice here is,
if you look at that worst case scenario and you honestly cannot survive it financially or emotionally, then you stop.
pause. Reassess. Don't do it yet.
Exactly. Because success isn't just about speed, it's about resilience. It's about sustainability.
Yeah.
Making a reckless bet you can't afford to lose isn't brave. It's just, well, foolish. It can set you back years.
You need to be able to survive the inevitable bumps and failures along the way. Build a sturdy ship.
Precisely. Build something that lasts, not something that collapses at the first sign of trouble. That's the real goal.
So, to wrap this all up, let's bring it back to the book itself. The Millionaire Fastlane. Let me be really clear. It is an incredibly valuable book. It's gold, genuinely.
Absolutely. It's power to just shatter that old 9-to-5 mindset, to show people a different possibility for their lives is immense, truly impactful.
It's woken up millions of people, inspired them to seek freedom and control over their future. It's brilliant for that.
No question.
And this is the point of our whole deep dive today. It was never meant to be just a simple shortcut to easy riches.
Not at all. It's not a lottery ticket, despite how some might portray it online.
No. The real message The authentic blueprint in there is much deeper. It's a roadmap for people who are truly committed.
Committed to learning constantly, committed to delaying gratification when necessary, and committed to building their thing with real strategy, not just hopeful desperation.
It requires discipline, patience, building that foundation step by step like we outlined.
Which leads to the final, crucial piece of advice, the big takeaway.
Please do not just quit your job tomorrow with a few $100 and a vague dream.
That dream needs an engine. It needs fuel. It needs a plan.
Instead, be smart, be strategic. Use the slow lane, your job, your current income, to build your fast lane properly.
Acquire the skills. Save the money. Get the experience. Start small with a service biz. Then leverage up. Wisely. Securely.
It's strategic patience. It means when you finally do go full-time on your venture, you're leaping from a springboard, not off a cliff. You're doing it from strength.
From security, not desperation. That makes all the difference.
We really hope this deep dive has brought some clarity for you. Maybe it even stopped you from making a really costly mistake.
Or maybe it just gave you that practical step-by-step path you were looking for.
If this conversation resonated, if it provided that wake-up call or that clear roadmap, please think about sharing it.
Yeah, share it with that friend who's talking about quitting their job next week with $500 to launch an app.
Or the one mesmerized by the influencer promising instant riches. Send them this link. Tag them. You might literally save them from financial ruin.
Help them understand it's a marathon, not a 100-meter dash.
Because ultimately, the surest, most sustainable path to real wealth and freedom isn't found in rushing blindly ahead.
No, it's found in careful planning, disciplined action, and building strategically brick by brick.
Until next time, stay thoughtful, stay strategic, and remember, prepare diligently before you accelerate.